Minimus means small, so it's the smallest one. So maximus, big one. Medius, kind of middle size, and the minimus, smallest. Okay.
So it's switched here. This is 12, this is no number.
This is the one that, actually, this has no number, but that one does.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a mistake on my part. Okay.
Yeah.
And then right below the minimus is this little triangular muscle, and this is called the piriformis muscle. Piriformis. And the way to remember this is the sciatic nerve, this yellow thing, comes right out from underneath your piriformis muscle. So if you can find the sciatic nerve, the muscle kind of overlaying it would generally be the piriformis. It's like a triangular muscle right here. So they call it the piriformis. Again, a friend of mine's a chiropractor, and he says a lot of sciatic problems are not from your discs in your back. He's finding a lot of patients have what's called piriformis syndrome, where their piriformis muscle spasms, and it tightens and it hits the sciatic nerve. So these patients are constantly being treated for disc problems, and they're not getting any relief. He, it sounds weird, but massages the butt area, a lot of heat to this area to relax it, and he says the patients start to finally feel some relief. So knowing that sciatic nerve comes from underneath it kind of helps explain that. Okay, so that's kind of that. So then we have this little guy. This is the tensor fasciolata. Weird name. It's got a long tendon, tensor fasciolata. The muscle actually is quite small, but a very long tendon. You'll hear this tendon called different names, the iliotibial band. No, it's here's the muscle, and then the tendon kind of from there to there. So it's right, this little muscle, if you look at any of the pictures, it's that little muscle up on the
18 or
hip.
19?
19.
18.
It looks like an 18.
Actually, kind of looks like a 19.
18.
18. This one is 19.
Yeah, the tendon is
This
19.
tendon is 19. He's saying this is the tensor.
Yeah, that's it right
This
there,
is
whatever that number is.
It's 19.
Yeah, it looks like to me like 19.
19.
Yeah.
19?
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
19.
Yeah, and then 19 also for the tendon.
Oh, it says the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
same number.
Yeah, that's what I was,
Yeah.
because I had 19.
Okay, so that's the tensor fasciolata. Okay, that's the lateral side of the thigh. In the front of the thigh is your big quad muscle. Quad means 4. Okay, so on the lateral side of the thigh, you have this little tensor fasciolata muscle. As you move into the front of the thigh, you got this massive quad muscle. Quad means 4. So there's 4 muscles. This is the rectus femoris. This is the vastus medialis. And this is the vastus lateralis. Now I said quad means 4, and I've only given you 3.
So underneath.
So the 4th one is underneath. You take the rectus away, and under there is number 22. That's your vastus intermedius. Vastus intermedius. So the 4 muscles that make up your quad is the rectus femoris in the front, the vastus medialis on the medial side, the vastus lateralis on the lateral side, and the last one's hidden, intermedius, vastus intermedius. It's in between the other vastus. And that's a quad. That's the quad muscle 4. Then as we move into the medial thigh, we have this strapping muscle here called the sartorius. So the next time you sit down on the floor and you cross your legs like this, go like that, that's your sartorius. It brings your leg up and crosses it. So sometimes the term sartorius, I think, means to sit with your legs crossed or something.
Looks like a bell.
Yeah. So that big little strapping is called the sartorius. And then next to that is the gracilis. That's on the medial side also. And then on the medial side are the 2 adductors, a longus and a magnus. So as you move from the front of the thigh to the medial side of the thigh, you get the sartorius, the gracilis, and the 2 adductors.
So 26, is that longus?
26 is the longest, and 28 is the
Abductor
magnus.
magnus.
Now, my professor said the way to learn all this is the sartorius and the gracilis form a V. I went to Villanova as my undergrad, and we had a fight song, V for Villanova, V for victory. So at Villanova, we used V a lot to learn things. So he said, think of the V. It's formed by the sartorius and the gracilis. And inside the V are your two adductors. L comes before M in your alphabet. So the first adductor is the longest. The second one is the magnus. So once he said that, I kind of learned those. So the V is the sartorius gracilis, V for Villanova. And inside are the two adductors, and L comes before M. So the first one is longest, the second one is the magnus. Okay, and since they're on the medial side, they're all pulling your thigh in. That's all these do. They pull you towards the midline. Okay? And then on the back of the thigh are the ham muscles, the hamstring muscles. So lateral thigh was tensor fasciae lata. Front of the thigh, the quads. The medial side, sartorius, gracilis, and adductors. And then in the back of the thigh are your hamstrings. And there's 3 hamstring muscles. When you see someone running down the track, all of a sudden they grab the back of the thigh. They probably just pulled a hamstring muscle. Now there's 3 of them, and you can confuse them, except my professor gave me a little way of learning them, which helps. Okay, there's 3 of them. One of them is all by itself. All by itself. The other 2 always together. This one's always by itself. This is the biceps femoris. It's all by itself.